the race was complete. They put that medal around your neck, same medal that I saw back when I wanted the first medal, when I saw it in the newspaper, and I said, "You get to do a triathlon, you get a medal, right?" I said, "Yeah, I got your medal." So I finished it, and it was obviously late, and stayed up for a little while longer and enjoyed the moment. And I was tired and sore, but not to the point that like, oh my God, like I couldn't function. It wasn't debilitating. But the sense of accomplishment was just so grand and so great, and to be able to do it. And the one thing that everyone says is that you put the effort in, and once you cross that finish line, you get to brag for the rest of your life. No one will ever take it away from you. So it's an amazing thing. And then of course I always get asked this question a lot too, and people will say, "Are you going to do another one?" And I say, well, at this point the goal was to get through this one, and I would never say never, and it's not on my schedule immediately, but I haven't closed the book on the idea of doing it again, but there's always a possibility. So after I hung out where the finish line was, had my medal, had a couple of pictures taken, I have to go and gather up my gear, my bike, went back to the hotel room, had to eat something, take a shower, and then it's late, and my family had been up with me since 4 o'clock in the morning, so they were pretty exhausted too. So everyone wants to go to bed, and I went to bed. And one of the sort of little small craziness of doing the whole thing is I went to bed at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, proceeded to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning so that I could go down to the area for the Ironman Village, where they sell the day after the gear that says finisher, because obviously they don't put that gear out the day before, it's only there afterwards. So I got up early in the morning because I have friends that have completed it, and I've seen their finisher gear, and so they only put a few hundred pieces out, or limited numbers compared to how many people finished and participated. So they're a hot commodity. So you got to get up early and get online, and then when they open the doors, it's like when you see the women busting in to buy the wedding dresses, and they're all getting them at special prices. So all the triathletes that are exhausted, but yet they got up with very little sleep to get down there because they want the gear that says that they finished, because you want to be able to wear it with pride. And sort of one of the other unwritten rules is you don't wear the Ironman gear unless you've done an Ironman. That's just sort of one of those unwritten rules. Went in, got up early in the morning, went online, hanging out, drinking my Starbucks, and the doors open, and went in and made a big purchase of all kinds of Ironman finisher gear, my jacket and everything else, and then came back home and met my family for breakfast, and that's how we finished our Ironman weekend in Madison. It was awesome. It was a dream, and I got to do it. I got to fulfill it, and proud to say that I'm an Ironman. One of the greatest things that came out of it would be how strong an individual can be, both in spirit and in body. Because of what I do now as a trainer and someone that's constantly around helping people with their fitness. And I'll say to clients all the time, there's mental health and there's physical health. And you really have to have both. And in being a triathlete and training, there's the mental part, and then there's the physical part, and you need to figure out how to have both of those things. And I think, you don't realize how far you can push yourself. And you really can push yourself a lot further than most of the time for people that are not out there trying to accomplish an Ironman, but maybe a little smaller task. The physical part is the easier part, like losing weight. Someone wants to lose weight, you can lose weight. How hard do you want to push yourself to achieve your goal? Usually the part that gets in the way is the mental part. The reasons why you tell yourself you can't, you won't, you're not going to. And so I think one of the greatest things that I learned out of coming away from this is that mentally, if you can figure out how to have that mental strength, then everything else will follow along. You know, when I tell my story about doing the Ironman, I certainly wasn't the fastest triathlete that day, not even close, but I did it and I never gave up. I knew that even though the clock was working against me, that I was going to get there no matter what. And that's just, you know, kind of like the little engine that could. You know, you're climbing uphill and like, you got to do it. Like, don't ever give up. You know, and I wasn't going to give up that day. There was no way I was going to give up. I worked too hard, and I never told myself, never once said to myself, you're not going to do this. And so I mentally was strong. Physically, I worked as hard as I could within my body's limitations, and I knew I was going to get to my goal. So I think that was the part that I learned after all of this, is that how to find that strength within yourself.